Hey, what's up guys? This is Anthony from Anthony's Customs, and for this review, we are looking at the Marvel Legends X-Men 97 Marvel's Bishop. And so far, this X-Men 97 line hasn't been great, depending on who you ask. Some people say Wolverine's the best thing since sliced bread. Magneto was definitely garbage, hot garbage all the way around. Haven't looked at the other three yet. We will do that. I have them. I just haven't reviewed them yet. Interesting. Well, we'll get to that, I guess. Okay, so this figure does some things pretty well, some things incredibly strangely, and some things kind of average. So let's go ahead and get him off the stand and take a closer look. Alrighty, so let's take a look at my package before we look at the figure, because we have it here and I'll get it out of the way. The one thing I wanted to note, I mentioned it briefly and then I went away from it, is when I reviewed Wolverine, I said, hey, his colors are all wrong. The figure doesn't match the reference images, and people were like, at least a few people told me this. I don't know where people come up with ideas, but on the internet it's a thing. They were like, but it's because it's printed on the packaging. Of course the package isn't gonna match the figure. One's plastic and paint and one is printing. And I'm thinking, that's just absolutely not how that works. No matter what. I mean, like, it's never been a thing that you can't reproduce colors in different mediums. And this is pretty much the same exact color scheme. Like, exactly. It's not literally exactly, but virtually, it's pretty damn close. Alright? It's pretty freaking close, especially considering the worst offender is this, and that's because it's not painted, it's just molded plastic, but it's pretty close, so they are able to do it. So that's alright, and I have to say, his face turned out way better on the figure than I thought it was going to, so that's a pretty good thing. And they gave us that reference image there. Alright, so there's the packaging. There you go. Look at that. They basically match. It's funny how you can do that. Like, they actually have things out there as far as like print work and digital art and everything where you can get the exact same color for different things across it. Anyway, whatever, doesn't matter. This guy matches. Wolverine didn't. This guy stands just shy of 18 centimeters, including his hair. That's going to make him roughly, and we'll just call it 7 inches. Here he is up against Darwin. He definitely has some size, and I like it. Bishop was one of my favorite characters as a kid, and I'm glad to see a new figure of him that's at least partly good, but there are some super weird things. So let's do a quick question of the day before we get into anything else. This X-Men 97 line is done especially cartoony. How do you guys feel about that? Because to me, Marvel Legends already, like, the line doesn't adhere to a particular artist's style. They're usually some kind of amalgamation, usually somewhat dumbed down in the body. Why did they have to go so cartoony for these particular figures such that they don't really blend in with the other Marvel Legends? Let me know how you guys feel about that. I'm guessing it was some kind of licensing thing. Or maybe not licensing, but in order to make the 97 figures, maybe Marvel wanted them to actually look like the cartoon. I don't know. I don't hate the idea of it, but I think Marvel Legends are already so close to the cartoon look that it would have been fine to just continue that, but whatever. Okay, so aesthetics, let's start with that. Proportioning, not too bad. His torso seems really small. His chest is very narrow, not helped by this. This hides it. I mean, it helps hide the ugly sculpt, but he does have a very narrow chest, considering he's very bulky in the artwork, but that's okay. It's because there's problems otherwise, other places that are way worse. Skin tone's not bad, it's uniform everywhere else. It's mostly a matte or satin finish. Looks like it's bare PVC everywhere. I'm okay with that. Looks pretty good. The bare blue plastic is okay, except for the chest where it's really shiny. I mean really, really shiny. The knee doesn't match. It's the wrong color. The yellow paint on the leg. This part's okay. This part is terrible. Like, really, really bad. Maybe that's different from figure to figure, but I'm guessing not, because the chest part is also really, really bad. You can see an overlap of yellow there where it's actually yellow. The rest is almost green because it's so transparent. Very poorly done. And then we have the molded yellows in the shoulder pads and right here that don't match the painted yellows. So that's not good. No shading anywhere. It looks flat as heck. Very, very crappy looking if you don't count the head. We'll get to the head. The head's wonderful. We'll get to that in a minute. Alright, so it's a little bit questionable. I'm not even going to comment on the sculpt. they didn't, I guess I will. I have to, because it's not because it's cartoonish. They just didn't do a great job. They made his thighs super bulky, and I'm not counting these things over here. Just the overall shape of the thighs is really big, and they actually sculpted in muscle lines down here, but also it's baggy? Or is it just a really, really bad muscular sculpt? Look at all these weird wrinkly lines down here. I don't know what's happening on his thigh. The fronts are just quads with a little bit of like cloth sculpt. I don't know what's going on there. It looks weird. A very basic sculpt for the arms, similar to Wolverine's thighs, really, because his arms looked like he had fur. But yeah, so it's a very cartoonish look. But here's what the thing that really is weird is the way they did the torso. They packed in as many details as they could, which is fine, I guess, except the shape is really wrong. It's like they took a blank and then just carved in the details rather than actually sculpting anything. It's very smooth, it's very flat, with just lines basically where the sculpt is. It's very weird looking. Look at how round his chest is. That's not the shape of pectoral muscles at all. Not even a little bit. So that's strange. And then his waist is almost literally a circle. It's very round. It's almost the same width this way as it is this way. And if you look at it from here, you can see above his peeper area, it's round right here. And that's not the shape of superheroes at all. Look at the curve of the belt. That should be way flatter across the front. I mean, this guy's ripped, but apparently he's also very round. It looks so strange. It's such a weird sculpt for no reason because it's a brand new sculpt. So it leaves me to just think that either Hasbro doesn't care or whoever they're hiring doesn't sculpt well. And I know at least some of them can. So very strange. A lot of bad things mixed in with good things. It's kind of well hidden. But also if you look close at all, you're going to be like, that's freaking weird. All right, let's get to the head sculpt because that's the best part. I think they freaking nailed the sculpt. It looks great. And I think the paint job is exactly the way all Marvel Legends should look. It does have some detail work, but it still doesn't look like it's trying to be realistic. It looks great. Mine's not perfect around the beard, around the goatee, it's not great, but generally speaking, this is exactly the way he should look. They nailed it. I love it. Mine has some glue up here too, up at his hair where his hair is connected. Come on, there you go. But it looks great. Okay, so I'm going to give this guy a 7. There's a lot of problems, but there's some good stuff too. That's the aesthetic rating. This one's a longer review because it's an all-new figure. There's a lot of problems with this guy, but at first glance at least, and then if you look at some of the spots, there's some shining moments too. It's pretty good in some places. All right, now as far as accessories go, you do get the fist hand and the secondary like gun holding hand sort of thing on him in the package. Then you get 2 trigger finger hands. Those have vertical hinges. That's awesome. Thank you very much. And then you get his pistol. Shouldn't he have another gun? I thought he had a bigger gun than a pistol, but I can't remember. I mean, maybe in this new cartoon he doesn't. The pistol looks like hot garbage. It's bare, crappy plastic. It looks like crap. It's very squishy. It's not good. Very disappointing. Also, whoever designed this, I mean, I know it wasn't the figure. Whoever designed this originally, you can't grab your pistol effectively like that at all, whether it's a rifle or a pistol or anything. That is not, if you can, go try that. Hold something behind you like that and see if you can grab it. You can't. Because your hand goes back like this, so if he pulls this out, like that's not right. That's how it goes. It would be in his back like this. Ideally. But they did it like this, which makes absolutely 0 sense. It couldn't be less tactical. Okay, so anyway, accessory-wise, bare bones, 2 hands, and a gun that sucks. 5 out of 10, because the hands have at least vertical hinges. Okay, as far as articulation goes, get ready for this. Double ball peg, hooray! But also it's Hasbro, which means... they might as well have just glued it. This might as well be one of the old female bodies where the ball peg doesn't move because it can't move. Oh man. I'm never gonna get tired of making fun of Hasbro for not being able to figure out ball pegs. Good grief. Oh, one of the things I liked about this guy, by the way, I didn't expressly state this. I said his proportioning was good. His head doesn't sit ridiculously high with his shoulders ridiculously low. Makes him look pretty good. So anyway, that articulation on that head it's just a swivel, essentially, because the ball peg is so worthless. It's so worthless. Oh, man. All right, so the shoulder pads are actually connected up here. Not the best choice, but they're not terrible, I guess. So you do get basically the full rotation, other than the shoulder pads getting in the way. Bringing the arms out to the side. Better than horizontal, that's good. Bicep swivel is fine. These are floating, so they pretty much hide the joint effectively and don't get in the way, so I like that. Double jointed elbow. Plenty of range. Not the prettiest thing we've seen, but plenty of range, so I'll give it to him. That's all right. Wrists have a swivel and a hinge. These are floating as well, so you can bring them down and it looks pretty good. Ab crunch on this guy goes all the way back. Really shows off that super weird sculpt. So round. It's ridiculously round. Are you able to see what I'm talking about? It's nuts. Weird. And then the back is just not sculpted properly at all. Oh gosh, the paintwork on that line is even worse on the back. All right, so torso's weird. Waist twist is fine. It's like they said, well, when we sculpt him properly, the waist twist looks weird. So let's just make him round so that it's not a weird shelf system. Very strange. Whole thing's weird. All right, bring the leg forward. Relatively limited. Not great. Not terrible, but not great. Doesn't go back very far at all. Out to the side. One of the better hips we've seen going out to the side. Even though he's chunky as heck, because hey, it's possible and they just don't care most of the time. Thigh swivels are fine. Double jointed knees, plenty of range. Weird proportioning for the lower leg. Definitely too long here, too short here. Would have made him look a lot better if it was better. Boot swivel is nice. Ankles go all the way back and far enough forward. Ankle rocker is okay. So this guy's a weird one. Part of him works pretty well. Part of him looks pretty good. And then we have the opposite also. I'll give this guy's articulation a 7. It's perfectly acceptable. It's not good. It's not terrible. It's fine. All right, and now it's time for the final verdict. As much as I think some of the things on this figure are really bad, there are some things that are really good. That head sculpt and paint job goes a freaking long way. A good head sculpt and paint job can save a figure in a lot of cases. This might be one of them. It might be. I love that the arms and the head are a matte finish, and then that head sculpt is great. And unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on how you look at it, he does have problems throughout, but they're fairly well hidden. So that's fortunate, but it's unfortunate that they are there. I'm gonna give this guy an overall rating of 8 out of 10. There are some serious problems, but I don't think they're gonna stand out that much once you pose him and stick him on a shelf. They shouldn't exist. Brand new everything right here. The problems shouldn't exist. I have to be an objective reviewer, but subjectively, I do think you'll be able to get past them and enjoy the figure for the most part. That's how I'm feeling about it. And so there we go. Yeah, 8 out of 10. Solid enough release, but riddled with problems it shouldn't have. So there it is, guys. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please do give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, give it a thumbs down. And if you haven't subscribed, you should. I have new videos every day but Wednesday and thousands already on the channel. So make sure you come back for all of that. And in the meantime, keep collecting.